Having seen how fractional unemployment results from the process of matching workers and jobs, now let's examine how structural unemployment results when the number of jobs is insufficient for the number of workers. To understand structural unemployment, we begin by reviewing how minimum wage laws can cause unemployment. So, minimum wage is not the predominant reason we have structural unemployment, but it's important to understand, to look at the minimum wage laws to understand the structural unemployment. Here is, as you see, the supply side of, this is the labor market. Supply side is you. When you graduate from the school, you go look for a job, you're ready to supply your labor hours. As you see on the horizontal axis is the labor hours. On the vertical axis we have wage. And the demand side in this market is firms and businesses that are looking for people. So as you see here, if only by looking at that figure, if you let the market do the job, there is going to be a wage rate that balances supply and demand. That means there's no unemployment, all workers have a job. But when a minimum wage law forces the wage to remain above the level that balances supply and demand, it raises the quantity of labor supplied. So here, as you see, the minimum wage is W1. At that W1, there's going to be here that much of labor hours supplied. That means that much of people looking for a job. And reduces the quantity of labor demanded at that higher minimum wage than the equilibrium wage. As you see, there are less job openings for that wage for the people who are looking for job. So this will create a problem of unemployment because that much of people find job because there are that much job openings, but the remaining here, this amount, cannot find a job. So minimum wage laws are one reason unemployment exists in the United States economy, but this doesn't affect everyone. The vast majority of workers have wages well above the legal minimum, so the law doesn't prevent most wages from adjusting to balance supply and demand. Okay. So here this figure is drawn to show the effects of a minimum wage law, but it also illustrates a more general lesson. If the wage is kept above the equilibrium level, you realize that there is unemployment in the economy. And minimum wage laws are just one reason wages may be too high. In the remaining two sections of this chapter, we consider two other reasons why wages may be kept above the equilibrium level. The first one is unions, and the second one is efficiency wage theory. So let's remember what is structural unemployment. Structural unemployment occurs when not enough jobs to go around. So there are not enough job openings that everybody can find a job. Okay, so it happens when wage is kept above the equilibrium because there is, if you let the market do the job, market force of supply and demand, there is an equilibrium wage that balances both supply and demand, resulting zero unemployment. But here there are reasons that the wage rate is above the equilibrium so that there is an imbalance in the labor market. So there are three reasons for structural unemployment. The first one is the minimum wage. Minimum wage may exceed the equilibrium wage for the least skilled or experienced workers, causing structural unemployment. But keep in your mind, this group is a small part of the labor force, so the minimum wage cannot explain most unemployment. Now, the second one is union. Let's define what is a union. A union is a worker association that bargains with employers over wages, benefits, and working conditions. In the United States, we don't have too much unionized workers. Only 11% of US workers now belong to unions, but unions played a much larger role in the US labor market in the past. In 1940s and 50s, when union membership was at its peak, about a third of the US labor force was unionized. Moreover, for a variety of historical reasons, unions continue to play a very big role, large role in many European countries. Belgium, Norway, Sweden, for instance, more than half of the workers belong to unions. So unions is important for structural unemployment because unions have some kind of power. They exert their market power to negotiate higher wages for workers. So union is type of a cartel. Like any cartel, a union, a group of sellers acting together in the hope of exerting their joint market power. Most workers in the US economy discuss their wages, benefits, and working conditions with their employers as individuals. By contrast, workers in a union do so as a group. Okay, so the process by which unions and firms agree on the terms of employment is called collective bargaining. When a union bargains with a firm, it asks for higher wages, better benefits, and better working conditions than the firm would offer in the absence of a union. If the union and the firm do not reach agreement, then union can organize a withdrawal of labor from the firm, which we call this as strike. Because a strike reduces production, sales, and profit, a firm facing a strike threat is likely to agree to pay higher wages than it otherwise would. Okay. So when you look at the research, you will find out that the typical union worker earns 20% higher wages and gets more benefits than a non-union worker for the same type of work. So why union is a problem? Why union creates structural unemployment? It's because of its power. Okay, when a union raises the wage above the equilibrium level, it raises the quantity of labor supplied, right? More people want to work at the higher wages, and reduces the quantity of labor demanded. That means there will be less job opening, resulting in unemployment. Workers who remain employed at the higher wages are better off, but those who were previously employed and are now unemployed are worse off. Indeed, unions are creating insiders and outsiders. Insiders, workers who remain employed, are better off. Outsiders, workers who lose their jobs, are worse off. So, the outsiders can respond to their studies in one of two ways. Some of them remain unemployed and wait for the chance to become insider and earn the high union wage. Others take jobs in firms that are not unionized. Thus, when unions raise wages in one part of the economy, the supply of labor increases in other parts of the economy. This increase in labor supply, in turn, reduces wages in industries that are not unionized. So, insiders are okay, they have better wages, but outsiders need to find jobs since they increase the supply in not unionized industry. The wage rates are lower in non-unionized industry. And this creates another problem for outsiders. So the question is, are unions good or bad? Economists disagree. The critics argue that unions are merely a type of cartel. When unions raise wages above the level that would prevail in competitive markets, they reduce the quantity of labor demanded. Okay, this will cause some workers to be unemployed and reduce the wages in the rest of the economy. Advocates, unions counter the market power of large firms, especially if there is a company town where a single firm does most of the hiring in a geographical region. In a company town, if workers do not accept the wages and working conditions that the firm offers, they have little choice but to move or stop working. So in the absence of a union, this is a problem. So union can actually have power that by collecting all workers under one umbrella. Okay, and the firm could use its market to pay lower wages if there is no union and offer worse working conditions than would prevail. If there is a union may ask for higher wages and better conditions for workers. And also, unions claim better health care, better benefits for work overtime, vacation, sick leave, health benefits and promotions, schedules, job security, and other things that make the life of a worker better. And the third argument, why the wages are above the equilibrium, can be explained by theory of efficiency wages. According to this theory, firms voluntarily pay above the equilibrium wages because they want to boost worker productivity. There are different versions of efficiency wage theory suggest different reasons why firms pay high wages. But we will concentrate on the 4 important reasons why firms might pay efficiency wages. The first one is worker health. In less developed countries, poor nutrition is a common problem. Paying higher wages allows workers to eat better, makes them healthier. That means they will become more productive. Okay. The second reason is why companies want to pay higher wages is because of the worker turnover. Hiring and training new workers is costly. Paying high wages gives workers more incentive to stay and reduces turnover. And the third one is worker quality. Offering higher wages attracts better job applicants, increases quality of the firm's workforce. And the last one is worker effort. Workers can work hard or shirk. Shirkers are fired if caught. Is being fired a good deterrent? Depends on how hard it is to find another job. If market wage is above equilibrium wage, there aren't enough jobs to go around, so workers have more incentive to work, not to shirk. So, let's try to apply all these concepts to this example. Which of the following would be most likely to reduce frictional unemployment? The first one is the government eliminates the minimum wage. So, as I said before, structural wage is all about the amount of number of jobs are not enough for all people looking for a job. This happened in the economy because the wage is above the equilibrium wage. Okay, so that means the wage is above the equilibrium wage. At that high wages, the job openings is less than the amount of people looking for a job. If the question is about a wage, it cannot be about frictional unemployment because frictional unemployment is about matching. So during the transition period, there is always unemployment because people search for a job that fits best to their qualification. So the government eliminates the minimum wage is about structural unemployment. Yes, it will reduce structural unemployment, but not the frictional unemployment. So this is structural unemployment. B, the government increases unemployment insurance benefits. Remember, unemployment insurance benefit increases the amount of frictional unemployment because people have more time and financial security to find a better job. And if the insurance benefits are increased, frictional unemployment will increase more, not reduce, but increase frictional unemployment. Let's look at the C part. A new law bans labor unions. So labor unions is about structural unemployment because they ask for higher wages. So keep in your mind, structural wages is about wages. Wages are above the equilibrium, so this creates a problem. There are less job openings given that the amount of people looking for a job. If there is a law that bans labor unions, it will decrease the structural unemployment. It's not related to frictional unemployment. D. More workers post their resume at LinkedIn.com and more employers use LinkedIn.com to find suitable workers to hire. We said that frictional unemployment is all about matching the workers with their qualification to the jobs. And here LinkedIn or any internet tool will reduce the frictional unemployment because it makes the jobs available or makes the job search easier. Okay, so this will reduce the frictional unemployment. And E part, sectoral shifts become more frequent. So if sectoral shifts become more frequent, that means people need to look for job for changing from one sector to another, which will increase the frictional unemployment. You can find the answers in the following slide. And let's make a summary. In the last 2 parts of this chapter, we try to explain the natural rate of unemployment. The natural rate of unemployment consists of frictional unemployment, What is frictional unemployment? It is about the time that you need to search for the right jobs, and it occurs even if there are enough jobs to go around. The second reason why we have natural rate of unemployment is because of structural unemployment. Structural unemployment occurs when wage is above equilibrium, not enough jobs, due to minimum wages, labor unions, and efficiency wages. And in the following chapters, if you are interested, you can read about cyclical unemployment, which we will not cover in this chapter, but it's mostly about short-term fluctuation. It mostly depends on short-term fluctuations in the economy that is associated with business cycles. And here is the summary. So in this chapter, we learn what is unemployment rate and how we calculate unemployment rate. And we also learn labor force participation. And unemployment and labor force participation vary widely across demographic groups. We'll learn about why we have always unemployment in the economy. We talk about natural rate of unemployment. Natural rate of unemployment is the normal rate of unemployment around which the actual rate fluctuates. And we talk about also cyclical unemployment, make a definition. It's a short-term unemployment and it's the deviation of unemployment from its natural rate and is connected to short-term economic conditions. The reasons why we have natural rate of unemployment is because of frictional and structural unemployment. Frictional unemployment occurs when workers take time to search for the right jobs, and structural unemployment occurs when above equilibrium wages result in a surplus of labor. And we learned there are three reasons for above equilibrium wages, which are minimum wage laws, unions, and efficiency wages.